Welcome to the Astana Times YouTube channel. I'm Aida Haidar, and in today's broadcast, we'll explore the latest news in Kazakhstan. Let's dive into it. Kazakhstan is set to become Vietnam's first strategic partner in Central Asia. This announcement came during a high-level meeting on May 6th between President Tokayev and Vietnam's newly appointed General Secretary of the Communist Party, To Lam, during his state visit to Kazakhstan. In narrow-format talks, President Tokayev called Vietnam a key partner for Kazakhstan in Asia, pointing out that both nations share a common vision for prosperity and regional stability.
Мен 2 жыл бұрын Вьетнамға ресми сапармен бардым. Сонда екіжақты ықпалдастықтың жаңа бағыттарын дамытуға уағдаластық. Алдағы уақытта да қос халықтың достығы нығая бермек. Мен бұған кәміл сенемін.
At expanded negotiations, Tokayev voiced support for Vietnam's ambitious goal to break into the world's top 25 economies by 2040. Kazakhstan, he said, is ready to lend a hand from trade to technology. Speaking of trade, bilateral turnover hit $860 million in 2024. Now, the two sides are setting their sights higher, aiming for $2 billion in the coming years. Tourism was also on the table with visa-free travel and over 40 direct flights between the two countries. Tokayev suggested promoting Kazakhstan's lesser-known gems to Vietnamese tourists. In his turn, To Lam recalled Vietnam's long-standing ties with Kazakhstan, dating back to President Ho Chi Minh's visit in 1959, and expressed gratitude for Kazakhstan's past and present support. Wrapping up the meeting, Tokayev highlighted the importance of cultural diplomacy, noting that Vietnamese cultural days in Kazakhstan help build bridges and deepen mutual understanding. But the momentum didn't stop at the presidential palace. On the very same day, Kazakh Prime Minister Ozhazbektianov sat down with General Secretary To Lam to reaffirm both countries' commitment to deepening trade and economic ties, a message echoed loud and clear at the Kazakhstan-Vietnam Business Roundtable held in Astana. The event brought together government officials, business leaders, and state representatives from both sides to explore new frontiers of cooperation. With 13 Vietnamese-funded companies already operating in Kazakhstan, confidence in the local market is clearly high, and the partnership is only growing stronger. Agriculture was a standout topic. Trade in the sector rose 3.5% last year, with Kazakhstan's agricultural exports to Vietnam skyrocketing 15-fold. Both sides see serious potential not just in goods, but in know-how. They discussed sharing scientific expertise and adopting smart farming technologies. Kazakhstan, aiming to raise its processed agri-product share to 70% in 3 years, invited Vietnamese partners to co-invest in poultry and egg production using water-efficient tech. Transport and connectivity also took center stage. Vietnam is eyeing the Trans-Caspian International Transport route as a faster, more efficient path to get goods to Central Asia and beyond. And there's a liftoff in aviation too. Kazakh Air and Vietnam's Vietjet are launching a new joint airline, Vietjet Kazakhstan, based on Kazakh Air's infrastructure. This move is expected to supercharge tourism and trade flows across Central Asia and the Asia-Pacific region. On the digital front, Kazakhstan, currently ranked 24th globally in e-government and among the top 10 for online services, sees Vietnam as a natural tech partner. From AI to digital public services, both sides agreed to share innovation and expand tech collaboration. Wrapping up, both countries doubled down on their goal to raise trade turnover to $2 billion. Kazakhstan is ready to expand exports across 35 product categories, from petrochemicals and machinery to food and metals. All signs point to a deeper, broader, and more dynamic Kazakhstan-Vietnam partnership, one with real impact across industries, borders, and futures. Kazakhstan marked the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II with a large-scale victory parade in Astana on May 7th, the country's first since 2019. Held on Defender of the Fatherland Day, the parade brought together more than 4,000 military personnel and over 5,000 spectators, showcasing the nation's historical legacy and modern military might. President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev presided over the ceremony, paying tribute to the heroism of Kazakh soldiers and the resilience of the home front. He reminded the nation that more than 1.2 million Kazakhs were mobilized during the war, nearly every fourth citizen at the time, and that nearly half of them never returned. Their names, he said, are etched in the country's collective memory.
This sacred holiday reminds us not only of past suffering, but of the immense value of peace. It is a symbol of the indomitable fighting spirit and resilience of our people. We will continue to honor the memory of our heroes and preserve peace as our greatest treasure.
Addressing the crowd, Tokayev reflected on the lasting legacy of those who fought in World War II, underscoring the day's relevance for future generations.
II was one of the most tragic chapters in human history. Kazakhstan paid a heavy price. More than 1.2 million of our citizens went to the front, and nearly half gave their lives for the safety and future of the next generations. Our people made an immeasurable contribution to the victory, both on the battlefield and at home, where they worked tirelessly to support the war effort.
The event was broadcast citywide on LED screens and national television, while over 42,000 citizens received commemorative medals honoring their relatives' wartime service. Notably, among the guests of honor was Vietnamese General Secretary To Lam in Kazakhstan on a state visit, a symbolic moment as Kazakhstan and Vietnam continue to deepen bilateral ties, including in defense and security cooperation. The parade featured over 200 pieces of military equipment, from tanks to missile systems, and a flyover of 66 aircraft and helicopters from Kazakhstan's armed forces. While the country honors the legacy of its past, Kazakhstan is also focused on securing its future through industrial transformation. Kazakhstan is intensifying efforts to develop its chemical industry, aiming to diversify its economy and boost self-sufficiency across key sectors. Ministry of Industry and Construction Yersayin Naghazbayev announced during a May 5 government meeting. Currently contributing 4.6% to the country's manufacturing output, the chemical sector plays a critical role in supporting agriculture, metallurgy, and building materials production. Last year, the industry's output surpassed nearly $2 billion, with major products ranging from fertilizers and pesticides to automotive chemicals and lubricants. Major players such as Kazazot, Phosphate, Caustic, and the Adrau oil refinery are expanding both domestic supply and exports, while the sector has maintained a steady 5% annual growth rate over the past 5 years. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, chemical production surged by 12.5%, reaching $785 million. Officials now forecast a 5% annual growth driven by expanded output in sodium cyanide, fertilizers, and yellow phosphorus. Food security remains a strategic focus. By 2030, Kazakhstan aims to meet 100% of its domestic fertilizer demand, specifically nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, through local production. The country is also venturing into coal chemistry, leveraging vast reserves. Joint projects with China's CHN Energy and East China Engineering target new ammonia and urea plants. Local coal enterprises are collaborating with scientific institutes to produce absorbents, fertilizers, and even diesel fuel. Currently, 49 chemical projects are underway. By 2035, Kazakhstan expects $9.3 billion in investments into this high-value sector. Well, that's a wrap on this edition, honoring the past, investing in the future. Stay informed, stay sharp with the Astana Times.